Hey, so probably one of the most powerful and versatile tools in the customer experience designer's playbook are personas, which are research-led characterizations or pen portraits of target customers. Now, they're great in lots of ways, from ensuring you stay very customer-centered during the design process, to helping inspire and generate solutions, through to being a tool that can be used to evaluate ideas, shift organizational culture, help train frontline colleagues to serve people better. But personas are often misunderstood. So I wanted to take a few episodes in the podcast to really demystify them and explain how they're developed, how they can be used to deliver destination services and experiences. Now, one of the biggest misunderstandings about personas is that they're the same as marketing segments, which of course they aren't. They're entirely different. A segment is a subgroup of your customers that shares common characteristics, things like demographics, age, gender, income, educational level, their marital status, or kind of, where they live. Segments tend to be broad in nature and, by nature, quite impersonal. So, for example, it might be as limited as, women age 30 to 40, interested in organic skincare, living in London. Personas, on the other hand, are much narrower and tend to paint a picture of the psychological aspects of customers, things like their values, their attitudes, their interests, or lifestyle choices. They also call out behavioral variables such as spending habits, brand preferences, or any regular routines that people might have. So whereas the segment we described as a 30 to 40-year-old woman living in London, a persona might be something like this. Now, it usually starts with a name. So this one's called Organic Olivia. And she's 35 years old, still lives in London. She's environmentally conscious. She seeks premium, organic, cruelty-free, fair trade products, and she uses them daily. She's active in a community of environmentally conscious individuals and open to receiving and sharing recommendations on sustainable products and practices. So you get the point. One is broad and the other is much more nuanced and gives clues about the sorts of experiences that they might like, and the services that we could design that would appeal to them. Now, another fun way to contrast segments of personas is with this example that I heard the other day. And let me explain it. So it's about contrasting the King of the United Kingdom, King Charles II, and the Prince of Darkness, the legendary Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne from Black Sabbath. So these two guys, if you were to describe them as a segment, they'd probably both fit this description, right? They're both male. They're both 75 years old. They're British. They've both been married twice. They've both got 2 kids, both very wealthy and very famous. And they both live in a castle. But that goes nowhere near describing what either of them might actually be into or what they might do that you could design for. I mean, I can't imagine that King Charles or Ozzy Osbourne have the same attitudes, the same needs or preferences, or that they would, spend their money in quite the same way. Okay, so hopefully that humorous description describes what personas are and how they're different to segments. However, when you start talking about them with people, you often discover that there are a few other misconceptions too, and I want to kind of get into those. The first is that personas, they're just made up, aren't they? And they have no basis in reality. Well, that's not true at all, and I'll talk more about this later in the next episode. Personas are actually skillfully constructed through design research using qualitative and quantitative data, using interviews, surveys, observations, and a whole bunch of other research methods. They're scientifically based, but artfully presented. Number 2, they represent specific individuals. They don't. Organic Olivia isn't a real person. She's a generalized characterization or an archetype of a user group. They're not a person. They are a type of person. The third misconception is that they're really quick to create and you don't need much research. Wrong. We talked about that earlier. They need to be based on real, deep insight and data. You might already have that, so you don't need to do any more to create them, which makes them quicker to create. But if you don't have the research, you need to do it. Personas are such a powerful springboard into ideation and evaluation that if they aren't based in reality, and if people aren't really confident that they're representative of target users, you'll just develop the wrong ideas, or you'll dismiss or pursue ideas that you really shouldn't. The fourth misconception, and there's one more after this, is that once personas are created, they don't need to be updated. Again, that's not true. What you and I need, and what we prefer, how we behave, or what we believe in, changes over time, right? We're all part of a user group, and just like the personas that would represent us, so they must be monitored, maintained, and developed as user groups morph and mature. Again, if you don't, you'll be basing decisions informed on intel that's outdated or just outright wrong. Last one, all projects benefit from personas. No, they don't, okay? You probably thought I was going to say they do, but they don't. They're not a universal tool for everything. Personas are very powerful, yes, but they aren't right for every project. You have to really step back and consider what the project is about before deciding whether they're the right tool to use. So let me give you three quick examples where personas might not be ideal. So firstly, if you're working on a product or a service within a commoditized market where there's very little differentiation other than price, then the nuances and the creative handholds that personas provide may not add much value. Or if you're working on a project where the user is a real kind of technical subject matter expert, then a persona in this context, framed in the wrong way, might oversimplify the complex decisions their user group may make based on technical specifications they review to make their choice. Or if it's a high stakes scenario, for example, in healthcare or public safety, they're making decisions based on what a persona suggests might be risky or even, ethically problematic. Okay, so let me give you an example of all of this from a company you'll know, which is Spotify. Spotify use segments and they use personas. Gen Z, people born between the mid-1990s to the mid-2010s, are recognized as a segment. They're digital natives, diverse, socially aware, pragmatic, educationally focused, and like rapid-fire information, which is a polite way of saying that they have shorter attention spans than their parents, which isn't meant to compliment their parents, who are just too slow to keep up as far as their kids are concerned. But I'm digressing. Gen Z is a segment, and Spotify tailors marketing campaigns, regional content offerings, and pricing strategies towards them. Within Gen Z, Spotify have identified personas based on individual behaviors and preferences and listening habits. For example, Active Angie, another great name. She's portrayed as a fitness enthusiast who enjoys high-energy playlists and workouts. They also have Discover Weekly Dave, who represents users who enjoy discovering new music and artists. Designing experiences for Angie led to created workout playlists based on your listening history, and working with Dave led to Spotify's algorithm being directed to generate unique playlists every week, which, as you know, is known as Discover Weekly. Think of these two personas, you can see how quickly and precisely they led to some profoundly targeted innovations that have been incredibly successful for the business. Okay, let's wrap up. So remember, segments and personas are very, very different. Remember King Charles and Ozzy Osbourne. They are artful, powerful characterizations of hard data and insight. And they need to be continually refreshed to remain as robust as possible. And whilst they're pretty much one of the most powerful user tools out there, they aren't right for every project. Okay, so in the next 2 episodes, I'm going to get into how you actually go about creating personas and how you use them, so stay tuned. But if you can't wait and want more information, please follow the links in the description below for more content and resources. Okay, see you soon. Take care.